Hello, hello, hello! We're doing something so fun today, and come and maybe the current ones as well if they want to hop on and talk about it. Just talking through the experience and all the things because I know. Hi!
Hey.
How many people can you add to a live at once is the real question.
That's a great question.
Are we just about to have a panel call on live? Hold on, I might have the ones who are in this round of mission income come up.
Hey, Stacy.
Hello.
As everybody is joining, we're just going to talk about mission income. For those of you who don't know, mission income, when you guys did it, was a 10-week mastermind. Now it is 6 months.
Oh.
And just your experience, what was your biggest takeaway? What would you tell someone if they were looking at it? Hi, Tamasha. Where's Cassandra?
Who's going first?
Whoever wants to go first. Let me preface this first. Let me give some context. I had openly stated that I was never going to run a mastermind again after having 2 failed mastermind launches, and this round of mission income is so special to me. Like, obviously the next round is super fun, but y'all truly made it so special. I think over 10 weeks I just saw so much exponential growth, and it was crazy because I've been in masterminds. I've been in 4. It's crazy to say out loud. But I think even though it was rushed and we did 10 weeks together and then we did the retreat, even though Michaela couldn't come, you were there in spirit. We thought about getting like a face of you and carrying it around.
Oh my God, like a cardboard cutout.
Like one we could hold, we could take in the cold plunge and stuff. I think it was just so special because we got to spend 10 weeks together, really building up this year, and I'm seeing a lot of the stuff that we worked on now come in fruition with that. And then also be able to just like explore what it would look like to have a mastermind, to have a retreat, to have these things, and like has definitely influenced how we have overflow now and all those things. And so it honestly was like an idea I had where I was like, oh, I should run a Q4 mastermind. Everybody else is running them. And then it turned into like just such a special experience. So I think Cass is having trouble getting on, but we'll just start the party without her, and then if somebody needs to leave, maybe we'll invite her up. Maybe we can only have 3 people on at a time. I don't know. I don't understand Instagram. Whoever wants to go first and talk about it. Also, what do you do? Because we are also going to eliminate the myth that just coaches can be in a mastermind.
Okay, Stacy, you go first.
Okay. Hi, I'm Stacy. So I'm a copywriter, and where do I start? Okay, so before Mission Income, I was making some inconsistent money, and for me, Mission Income was like a big focus on like, okay, like how to write, hey Mariah, you know how to write a sales page, but like how do you take that and embed it into your Instagram content and like use your content to drive sales? And that was like the really big shift for me. And it's really what took me from like really inconsistent months to like hitting 5K consistently, which is like super exciting. If Megan had told me at the beginning of Mission Income that I would have done that by January, I would have like told her to shut up. I wouldn't believe her. But like it happened, and it was really exciting. And it was just like the level of support of like Megan looked at all my content, like so many things, and like answered all my questions and told me to go take a nap when I was working too much. So I don't know, do it. I love Mission Income. Clearly, I'm still working with Megan, so.
Because obviously we talk about material review on the sales page, when you're talking about having me look at everything, what is that kind of experience for you? And like, how would you explain that to someone else who maybe has been in a program but hasn't experienced how we do material review and like the level we do it at?
Yeah, so it's just like nice because like even like okay, like I'm a copywriter and I know the things, but like when you're too close to your own business, it's really hard to like, it's hard to see where you need to improve. And having like that outside perspective, I mean, Megan like will literally just like make like 30 comments on my email sequence. And I think like one of the last things that you reviewed for me, Megan, it was like, you were just like, I'm sorry, like you're not being funny enough. Like, where is your humor in this? And like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like, I am funny. Like I can make this better. Um, but it's just like, there was no like pressure of like, oh my God, like this is awful. Like, it's just about like creating the space to like learn and to grow and to become even better.
Yeah, that, I mean, from like a coaching perspective too, I feel like those emails we were doing, for those of you who don't know, we were doing a full funnel review. So there isn't a limit on number of pages or anything that you submit. And there's not, the only time I will limit a submission is if you have submitted something to me multiple times and I'm like, hey, we've worked on this, we need to move on from this. But for Stacy, that was a full funnel review that we went over. And so we were looking at, it was like what, 12 emails maybe? It was a big chunk, but going through line by line and really not only infusing her personality into it, which for those of you who don't know Stacy, she's funny. She's a witty funny. She's gonna like catch you and you're gonna be like, oh, that was really good. But also using sales psychology on how, how we're getting people to open these emails, and then how are we getting someone to take a call to action, and looking at, our consumer funnel and what's the behaviors happening back end, because a lot of sales is heavily influenced by marketing. And I think there is a really big gap right now between having someone who's an expert in sales, but also having someone who deeply understands marketing and also understands you, so that you uniquely stand out. Because I don't want Stacy to become a mini version of me. We would lose a lot of really good jokes if she did.
Yeah.
Michaela, what about you?
I think.
Oh, Stacy, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that's one of the things I really appreciate about you is like very much like you don't have to do what I'm doing, and you do a good job of like kind of helping me find my own path of what's going to work for me and my business.
Yeah. I think my favorite thing to say to you guys is like, this is what I would do, or this is my insight. And then using a very powerful word, but at the end of the day, it's your business. You have unique goals. That's something we also talked about in Mission Income, was like, where do we start seeing our businesses as they grow, and not only working from day to day, right? But starting to work to that future vision and holding like that big, scary vision too. Because I know both of you have very different visions for what you want for your business, and not being like, this is the way and the truth and the light, and you have to do it this way, and then maybe tweak it later on. Michaela, what about you?
So, hi, I'm Michaela. I'm a social media manager, and I will say that Mission Income was like a pivotal moment for me. I came from a program that is a lot different and wasn't as high level as this one, I would say. So Megan would really take the time to go over every single piece of anything with me, like from start to finish or from scratch. And like that is so what I needed, because I was really all over the place. Like I had all these ideas and just different like things that I was working on, and she straightened me out. Like, this is what we need to do. This is what we're doing right now, start to finish. Like every single piece of anything was looked over, but with care and like with insightful like feedback that was usable. So it was just a really big piece of where I'm at today, I would say. Like I'm in a program with Megan right now, and the reason I am here today is because of Mission Income for sure. Like just seeing that level of care, like I wanted that again. So that's where I am now with her. Again, just because of the attention to detail and going through everything from with me, or starting things from scratch, like was just a huge handhold that I really needed. So highly recommend.
I think we do hand holding a little bit different than what people think. Because I know we just got on a call last week and walked through onboarding, and it's not just like, here, go do this. Sometimes it's like, here, like, let's write this email out for
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Like, let's build. Let me remote in to your screen and do this to help you, because that's the other side, is as you're scaling, you know, there is a lot. Oh, look, the last little one. There is a lot coming with it of operations and marketing and not just sales. And I don't want you guys to just make a bunch of money and then be like, now what do I do? Or now I need to hire an ops person, but I have no clue what they're doing. Like, that's the piece that I feel like is such a big gap in the space as well that we solved with Mission Income.
Totally. I would definitely say that instead of just telling, there was a lot of doing with you. So I think that's huge.
Lots of looms.
Lots of
What you guys don't
looms.
is me recording the loom when I'm like, oh, I don't like this. My little perfectionist heart being like, ugh. Or I like start doing it and I'm like, wait, I need to like talk through this and not just show you. Like, I need to express my thoughts out loud.
Absolutely. 10 out of 10 recommend.
That was a really big thing for me. And what I found was that I was over that stage of just wanting the courses or wanting the one size fits all. Is if I don't understand something, you're like, let me explain it a different way. And that's what the hands-on touch support is so important that people don't understand, is that not everyone learns the same, but you know that as a coach, where you're not just like, I explained it to you once, you should get it. I'm like, no, I don't get it. Explain to me in a different way, or what's a different way that we could do it, because I don't like that method. Like, you are able to give it 100 different ways and we'll figure out something that works for you. And as somebody who was like for so long operating in a way that didn't work with me because I was just told it was one way, we found a way for me to operate, for me to do things, for me to thrive that actually worked. And you explained it so many different ways.
And I think for you, Cass, I mean, this is something we've talked about back end and you've talked about openly. It's finding a balance too with your business and then also like your own personal mental health and your own, like, all of us have other things going on. Like, it's never an assumption you're just a business owner. Like, Michaela's a mom to two very spirited boys and she's doing an incredible job raising them. You know, Stacy's married and really close with her family. And, you know, Cass, you have all those other things going on. Like, you have a really good friend group and you have a boyfriend and you have all these other things. And it was finding that balance of like, yes, I'm an entrepreneur and I'm doing these things, but also how do I make this work with my life? How do I, you know, fit business into my life and not my life around business? Because that's no fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Cass, since you're the last to join us, our favorite little duck, how would you describe the experience in Mission Income?
It was expansive, to say the least. And I feel like, especially in the retreat, it's like everything that we've been talking about and doing just led up to that moment where everything just fell in place, and just being able to like be in a room with other people and have conversations where, especially the people that like, they started their business in COVID. That's how I started my business in COVID. I never experienced that in person. And it is a completely different experience where you're not just talking about things. You're not just having somebody on the other side of a screen. You're able to be in person, have conversations with people who understand what you're going through and they're going through the same thing, or they're even like up leveling more. So just being able to have that and being pushed and being inspired, where you're not just the smartest person in the room anymore, you are putting yourself in a room where you get to learn and actually be pushed to expand more.
Yeah, I mean, the retreat was, the mac and cheese was the best part.
So good.
Michaela, we'll make
It was so good.
September. You'll be like, what is this? It's magic. It's magic mac and cheese. I think it was really cool too, because there is a lot of opportunity for camaraderie, and it's not, we don't operate on a hub and spoke model, which, like, let me get my visuals out. A little teaching moment for everybody. So like a hub and spoke model when it comes to community is that I would be the central point for connection. And while yes, I'm facilitating this, I did find that you guys were connecting with each other and resourcing it, because at the end of the day too, we're bringing in different people with different expertise who know different things. Like, I know there was a couple of times, like, I told Stacy to go to Cass, or I told you guys to go to each other and like go ask that question because they could explain better. Because that's also part of what a mastermind is. I've told you guys this all the time, but, you know, mastermind started because Andrew Carnegie wanted to hang out with his buddies and talk about how to build bigger things. But there's also a sense of community inside of Mission Income, that it's like you are doing business with these people. There was no awkward moment. We would giggle on the calls too. We have so much fun on the calls. But even meeting in person, there wasn't this weird, like, oh, I don't really know this person, but I've been in the mastermind. It was like, oh, I've been with you for the last 10 weeks. Or, you know, we've been on calls and it's so crazy to see you in person and to be with you. All stare at each other, deep into each other's eyes. For my service pros, what would you guys say about if somebody was looking at it and they've only been in group programs, or they're afraid to get in a mastermind where it's mixed company and it's also coaches? What would you tell them?
I would say I don't think that like what you coach is like specific to coaches. I think it's just like you have a large breadth of knowledge, and like because there is so many other people, like Kaz taught me about videos, and like that doesn't matter if you're a coach or if you're a service provider, like you need video. And so I think just like getting in the room, and it's, I don't know, it was like so great to like have this community, because like as a service provider, it is really lonely when you're just showing up and like doing client work all the time, and just like getting in the room with people who get it, like that's really powerful.
Mm-hmm. And they get the good and the bad. We're willing to celebrate you, but there's also days where it's like, oh, like what's going on? Like I don't know if I can do this. And then it's like, oh no, like these people are supporting me. They've had the same feelings. They've, you know, gone through some of the same struggles that I have. And like that, I think Michaela, you were the one who asked for advice in one of the channels and was like, what would you guys do about this? And like, I need help. And it's nice to have that resource, that it's not just you going to your coach all the time.
And the rule of thirds, I'm like, Megan, how many times did you tell me that a third of my days are going to suck, and that's okay?
The rule of thirds. If you've never encountered the rule of thirds, it comes from an Olympic coach where a third of your workouts are going to be amazing. A third of your workouts are going to be meh, nothing important. And then a third are going to suck. I like the rule of thirds because then it's like, okay, this is just a third of what's going on in business. This is just a third of the bad shit. But that leaves 2/3 for either meh or like really good stuff. But it also zooms out where it's like, it doesn't have to be this whole thing. You don't have to spiral into it. Like it's just a bad day. And even separating, like, you know, I call my business my job. It's my job. Like I am an employee of my company, and sometimes it's okay to say I had a bad day at work. Like it doesn't make you a bad business owner. It doesn't make you, you know, not worthy of success. It just, you know, it's a job sometimes, and that's okay. And it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to also have a really good day, or just a day where it was like business as usual.
I'd say that like my like last ending piece of advice for anyone who's thinking about it or on the fence is like, I would say if you've done a lot of group coaching, where like it's more hands off, or if you've done more like self-paced type of programs or anything like that, like this is going to be a game changer for you, and a place where you can put all of your knowledge with one person that's going to help you like iron it out or give you the feedback that you need. There's just like a different level of care that is in this program for sure, and a safe space, like a safe space to like actually show up and talk about like what is truly going on in your business or outside of your business or whatever it is. So like I almost did Mission Income twice because I wanted to do it again. So like if that tells you something, if that tells you anything, I think if someone wants to come back and do it again, like it means something. It's an excellent program if you're someone who needs some support in your business. And Megan really knows, you know, her stuff, and she cares. So,
And I do want to mention we don't have a ton of videos to watch. Like we are starting to build a vault now after we've had one round, but everything is customized to you. You may get a loom. I may tell you to go watch a video from another program that we've built, but it's not like go watch this video this week, then come to the call and have to apply it to your business. It's like you show up to these calls and we go round robin just like this. and you update, you ask questions, you can ask questions if somebody else sparks things. Like, it is very custom, because I find after 5K, around that mark, you don't really need someone to make you watch a video. You need, like, what do I need to do this week? Get off this call, do it, bring it to the next week, get off that call, do it the next week, and continue to build that momentum.
100%. I think that's like part of the, if you've done other self-paced courses or group calls, like it's so different because it's like, we're done with that. We're doing only like hands-on now.
Yep. Only customized. And all of you graduated into Overflow, which was, I still think it was crazy. I still think that mastermind launch was crazy. I need to do a whole blog post about it. Any parting thoughts, Stacy, Cass?
I just feel like you know so much about my business. Like, you know more about my business than like my husband knows about my business. And just having like that thought partner and somebody to like riff ideas off of, like, that is super helpful. And that was very valuable for me.
And just remember, Tom's the one who sold you into the mastermind. It wasn't me. It was your husband.
No, I was going to say the same thing. And especially like we talked about dealing with like mental health issues. Like, I have ADHD, you have ADHD, some people have ADHD, and all these other things. It's like, we have such tunnel vision in our own businesses. So being able to have somebody that's able to, number one, like validate, but also understand where I'm coming from dealing with like anxiety or ADHD. You're like, no, I know how you operate. So I'm going to help you like see a bird's eye view in the bigger picture of your business so you can grow, but also know like how you can operate best to get there. That's kind of what I was talking about before, but it really is such an important thing. And even though like anybody who's watching this, you know that you have goals and other stages coming up in your business, but you need to also think about how you're stepping in that direction, where the group programs and the classes and the master classes might have been good for a stage that you were at, but for you to get up higher, you also need to be in that room with different people and think about what that support system looks like when you're going up through those different stages. It's not going to stay looking like the group programs and the master classes. The support also needs to grow as you're growing with your goals.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good balance of like, I think I have told multiple of you multiple times, like, you don't need to work more, you need to go rest. You need to go for a walk, go get yourself a coffee. Like, that is also part of scaling that I think people are missing, where it's like, working more is not the secret to everything, and having someone to check you, because let's all be honest, our partners can say, oh, you need to rest, and you're like, you don't understand, like, you're not a business owner, like, you don't get how hard I'm working, or like, I just need to finish this, versus having someone sit almost side by side with you and be like, hey, we've done a lot. I remember the conversation with both Cass and Michaela, and Stacey, I had this conversation with you where it's like, we have done a lot in the last couple of weeks. I need you to downshift, take a moment, and then come back, because I also think about longevity in your business, and I want you guys to be here for 5, 10, 15 years, however long you want to be in business. And we can't be in business that long if you guys burn out. Okay, I'm going to kick you guys off the stage, and I'm going to bring up the people who are already, bring up our next class of Mission Income. Anybody who wants to reach out and ask if you are on the fence and you want to ask Stacey or Cass or Michaela, I will tag them in the comments down below when I post this replay. And then you can also, I mean, I'm following all of them, so you can also just go through my following and stalk them.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
And now I remove you guys. Let's grab you, Madison and Catrice. They have been in Mission Income, so we technically haven't started, but they came in at pre-sale and have been inside the Slack. And I think everybody's also had their one-on-one call. Let me know if it's working for you guys. And if you say no, I'm going to show up at your house. While we're waiting on that, for those of you who don't know, Mission Income is a 6-month mastermind. So we are starting, we have a bonus call this week. We start officially next week. And over those next 6 months, you are working on scaling your income, building the business you want, hiring, launching programs, doing all of that fun stuff. You get a one-on-one call with me monthly, and then we do 3 group calls a month. And you also get an all-inclusive retreat. So you fly to Colorado, we call it the hometown date, and I get to treat you for a weekend. If it's working. I love Instagram Live. I'm gonna stop pressing buttons for a second because it's Instagram. I'm like, we still have 9 spots open for those of you who are on the fence. And the application is obviously the link in my bio if you want to personally reach out to anybody who's currently in this round or who is in the next round. Okay, now I'm going to try again. I'm like, let's make it work. Anybody else a rage button presser? Or is that just me? I don't want to have to go out and then back in. If it isn't working for you guys to come on, try going out and then in. And then for those of you who are live, if you have any questions as well, I don't know if it's going to work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm just like, Instagram, will you work? Those of you who are currently in Mission Income, I am going to Slack you guys and we'll just set up a time and we'll wrap it up now because I have a call at noon and take my lunch at 11. If you're watching the replay, you want to connect with anybody, check it out down below, and then I will set up another time for y'all to get to know the people who are coming in for the next round, the people who are going to be with you this round. And if you haven't checked out the sales page, go ahead and do so. I'll see you guys later.